We've seen a lot of insane reports come out from Lucasfilm for Disney Star Wars over the past decade plus. We've seen a lot of failures. We've seen a lot of embarrassments. We've seen a lot of damage control and major fan backlash. But this report that is coming out about Kathleen Kennedy might be one of the more ridiculous things we've ever heard, because according to at least one person who's an insider in Hollywood, when it comes to injecting woke stuff into entertainment, that's not what Kathleen Kennedy is all about. She has to be convinced to do all of the agenda stuff that we've been seeing over the last decade of Disney Star Wars. Star Wars boss Kathleen Kennedy is not a woke warrior at Disney, according to report. Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy took plenty of backlash from the Star Wars fan base due to her advocating for diversity, but she may not be the woke warrior some believe her to be at Disney. After Daisy Ridley was cast in the lead of the sequel trilogy, and other female actresses like Rosario Dawson and Natasha Liu Bordizzo played prominent roles on Disney+, some fans claimed Kennedy was pushing a political agenda. Yeah, just those two things. Just, casting one person and then this female focus show. That's it. That's the only reason there was any criticism. Are you fucking kidding me? How about nearly every single OG male character that has to be cucked or torn down in some way to make room for this female character or that female character? It's been a dozen years at this point, okay? It's not just one thing here and one thing there. But anyway, let's move on. The popular adult animated series South Park even released a special that featured Kennedy in a satirical manner as the face of the woke community at Disney, claiming she only makes decisions to pander to everyone. Well, even with her doing the Acolyte, even with all this stuff, even with her participating in Nike's Forces Female campaign, all of this, we should believe now that Kathleen Kennedy is not as woke as some of us would believe. According to Matthew Bellani via his The Town podcast, Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy isn't accurately portrayed by some fans as being the face of diversity at Disney. Some go so far as to call Kennedy woke, but Bellani revealed that these claims aren't accurate. He specifically stated, well, let's get to the whole quote, but Kathleen Kennedy is not, that whole South Park thing it was funny, but it wasn't accurate. Within Disney, she's not known as the woke warrior. She kind of has to be convinced, from everything I've been told, she kind of has to be convinced to do this stuff. So you're telling me that for the past 12 years, the clear agenda we've seen at play at Disney, that every single one of these decisions that Kathleen Kennedy had to be convinced to do it because she was inherently opposed to it for one reason or another, that is very, very difficult to buy. Now, I'm also not saying it's the complete other side of the pendulum where every single fucking decision, because it is true, some people take it too far. Every single time they see a line on The Mandalorian, they want to claim that, well, I bet that was Kathleen Kennedy put that in there. That could have nothing to do with John and Dave. There are insane people that try to cope with things that way, that think every single little thing that's ever been done in any Star Wars projects for the past 12 years, like Kathleen Kennedy had to sign on the bottom line for that specific line to push this specific thing. I wouldn't necessarily go that far. But the idea that, Kathleen Kennedy, she has to be convinced to do all these things, she doesn't really want to, that is very, very hard for anyone to believe. If you've seen her speak, and if you've seen the project she has been pushing from the beginning of her tenure at Lucasfilm. Bellani also pointed out there's never been a female director of a Star Wars movie, and that he personally believes she has not gone overboard on the diversity stuff. Well, there hasn't been, but it's not from a lack of attempting to try. And by the way, it's not like we've seen a shit ton of Star Wars movies that have come out either. We have seen female directors on the Disney Plus series. Weird how nobody wants to mention those. You only want to care about it when it's a movie. Very, very strange. But the reality is, for anyone that's been paying any attention to what's happened at Lucasfilm, the idea that it's just Kathleen Kennedy, that is nonsensical. It's from top to bottom at Lucasfilm. The way she thinks affects who she hires for these different projects. She puts people there that she thinks is going to do the job that she wants them to do. The idea that, Kathleen Kennedy, she really isn't for pushing this ideology. She's just all caught up in it too. That seems a little too far-fetched to be reality.